Times Square in the heart of New York City. Welcome to All Night with Joey Reynolds. Joey's guest tonight, comedian actor Stephen Scott. Entertainer and musician George Pettignano. School principal George Albano. Movie critic Neil Rosen. Comedy writer and producer Jeffrey Gurian. And our musical guest, Tin Pan. Ladies and gentlemen, Joey Reynolds.
Where's the big applause? Do we have the applause tonight? Do we? I'm standing. Do they have that? They actually we're pretending we got a studio audience? I love that. In the earlier days of television, they used to have this stool, and I think Jack Parr used to sit on one of these things, and he just riffed a little bit and told his stories and sat down and did whatever he had to do, and told his jokes and did his opening of his show. And I remember the stool for Jackie Gleason when he first moved the show to Miami, and he had a failure because he had taken that whole cast, the June Taylor dancers, and a big money guy from CBS. You know, he was the biggest money maker, I think, since Arthur Godfrey, if you jog back that far. But Jackie Gleason had opened up his show in Miami, and it was a failure. 1 week, 2 weeks. So finally, they just got tired of the bad reviews and nobody wanting to watch the thing. So he came out with a well, he always drank. So he had a little cup, and in the cup was probably a little, you know, libation. And he sat there with a cigarette in those days, had the scotch or whatever was in his cup. He sat down on the stool and he says, "This is not working. So we're going to scrap what we're doing, and we're going back to the honeymooners." And the crowd got crazy, and everybody was applauding, and the next week, it was the honeymooners again, you know. And the honeymooners is always a big hit for him, and everybody likes it. But you know what, you maybe don't know this, but there are only like about 26 of those shows, of the not the 1 hour shows that Jackie did from Miami, but of the episodes of the honeymooners in black and white, the ones that you see on TV every once in a while. Those things are, I think they made 26 or 28 of them. Did not make a lot of them, but they keep running them over and over again every year, and it's pretty aggravating. You know? No, actually, it's funny. You know, I mean, you get some of the material down, and you forget that he was so funny at just being this grumpy bus driver. "Alice, you're going to go to the moon, Alice." But he had a great way about him, and that was the acting job. You know, it was a situation comedy, before they actually figured out how to do it with 3 cameras, which Lucille Ball and her husband Desi Arnaz figured out. And in front of a live studio audience, they used 3 cameras, they filmed it, and they made this great show since everybody since has followed, you know. This particular program that we're doing here is a little bit different because we have no real studio audience, but we got the whole city to play with. And I'm in Times Square at the NASDAQ building. At this particular time, you're not looking at people behind me as they're walking by, but you're looking at a set. And I was thinking about tonight, you know, being what we're going to do and who we're presenting and how we're going to get everything on the air. And I don't have any writers, you know. I mean, I guess you could tell that by now. It's one of those things where you really have a relationship. And I'm trying to create an environment in New York City, at least to begin with, on our show where we open it up to anybody who really has talent that has maybe a little bit of fame, not quite enough, and maybe there are people who are missed. They have a great deal of fame and you haven't seen them in a while. So that's kind of what we're doing. I like to explain it because it's a new show on a new channel, and this is the new television. I mean, it's digital TV. And I want to mention that too, and that's why I'm taking this time to be a little bit serious with you. You know, in overseas we have conflict in Egypt. I call it conflict. It's not our problem necessarily. And frankly, what most people really don't want to do is pay more for oil. Let's be honest about it. And the other thing is that we have our interests in the Far East. People for those who do not want to see more problems come as a result of it with Israel, etc. But you know, this show is one that's going to take you away from a lot of those things because you've got enough news shows to cover all this stuff. But what I wanted to bring up tonight is that the technology we have, which is the television business and the thing we're on now, if we had a conflict in this country, as they have over there, for instance, when they cut all of the communications with the internet, it made it very difficult for people to express themselves, their anger and their fear. But in our country here, as we're still over the air, there's a place. And this particular television that we're on now, which is Nonstop New York, it's channel 4.2, it's digital TV, it's over the air. And the government wants us to be able to have over the air in case of emergency. You know, because once the cable's cut, everything's gone, including your internet and your television services, although we are on a lot of very fine cable companies and owned by one, as a matter of fact. So, you know, the thing is that we have a good shot with this over-the-air TV, as cell phones did during 9/11, because it's tower to tower, or tower to phone, or tower to television. Now, our show here, in particular, is a pretty good example of a new show for the new generation because it grows in a way that internet grew. We're putting a lot of interesting things on the air. We're taking a lot of chances. We're not doing the regular thing. We're an alternative. And as we move ahead with this thing, you're going to see us make some mistakes. You know, I mean, everything's not going to be wonderful or work. And then you're going to see us have a little bit of fun like we did last week. We had a really terrific week to kick it off. I wanted to be a little bit more of an explanation tonight to what we are doing, because there are people who tool around and they're wondering, what the hell is this, you know? And what it is a pretty interesting way to do television and radio. So what I want to do eventually, we're going to add radio to this and the internet and be a triple platform from Times Square in the NASDAQ window, the market site, which is where we're broadcasting. All right, so now you know the floor plan. We can get on with our fun. And I wanted to mention that I went to the Friars Club the other night. And one of the early great people in television in the city of New York and in the world, and he's still with us, I ran into him having dinner. I'm not going to tell you who it is, it will be a little bit of a surprise here. But let's take a look. This is my trip to the Friars Club. This is where I do my stand-up. So you like working in a comedy club, right?
It's nice here.
Did you ever have an interview in a men's room? Come on, say hello.
I've been watching your show.
Do you like it?
Love it. It's great.
Hey, can you imagine somebody actually saw that show?
Somebody saw the show. There's quite a few people that saw the show.
You're the guy.
I'm the guy that knows the guy.
And what's your name?
Mark Saladino.
All the way.
Oh,
All
the
the way.
Joey Reynolds.
Randy Levine Miller is here.
Hello, Joey. Hello, Joey. I'm so happy to see you back on the air where you belong.
Oh, thank you.
You are the love of all loves. This is like the mensch muffin of the Western Hemisphere.
Bruce here produced Robin Hood.
Robin and the Seven Hoods, yes.
And it was a motion picture with.
It was a motion picture.
And now on Broadway, coming on Broadway.
If you met Hamlish, my dog, he would love you too. We all love you.
Hey, Joey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We got a new TV show, and so I'm working the room.
Oh, I love the show, by the way. I watched Koenig and Jackie the Jokeman last night.
I want to start somewhere, and I figure I'll start at the Friars. I want to start at the top.
Oh, yes.
Work my way to the bottom.
Well, we got Dick Cavett in the corner.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
He's probably would make the sign of the cross if I get too close.
Oh, no, he seems like a nice fella.
Should I intrude?
Go ahead. Tell him Bob Greenberg sent you.
Why don't you go introduce me?
I'm going to introduce you?
Yeah.
All right, sure.
Ask me.
All right, there you go.
Can we use the camera on you a little bit? I'm sorry to be. I want to be intrusive for a moment.
Well, do it.
I got to be with the master. So let me get on my knees here.
If he's unavailable, you're welcome here.
You are. Now, you know, Dick Cavett is the #1 talk show guy in history. And alive.
Where's the applause?
And the last time.
Thank you.
Last time I saw you where I was totally engrossed was the Rocky Horror Show.
Oh, did you go see Rocky Horror?
5 times with you, every night a different monologue.
Yeah, that was the probably the most fun I ever had because I ad-libbed somewhat to the consternation of the producers, of the author, with the audience every night. It was great fun, great fun. I love being heckled.
Well, we were talking about you. Your name comes up every once in a while behind your back.
By the way, were you there the night a little adenoidal teenage girl killed a punchline by saying, "I love you, Dick"? and in my witty manner, I said, "Honey, I'm going to bitch slap you to the curb." And I got a laugh so big that luckily I had taped it, and I played it for Woody Allen.
And I want to say something. Would you come and do the show?
Have we met?
Just now. Do I have to pay you?
Well, of course.
Not for now.
Do I look like an idiot? Oh. Okay, well, just sure.
Well, you're the
Why
greatest.
not? I'm a rash promiser.
You are absolutely my idol. Thank you.
Well, how could I say no?
You say nothing.
It's going to be difficult.
You are. You're the best. You're absolutely the best. And you're intelligent, which is really shameful.
Don't start that. It won't get you anywhere.
Nice surprise. We ran into Dick Cavett, one of the all-time greats. And it's more of this that we're going to do, more of this foolishness. Meanwhile, with the weather, we're moving Buffalo here. Buffalo's having good weather. You know, they're having a balmy day, and we're getting all this snow and everything that's happening. I think one of the things that this winter has done is it certainly has increased our interest in watching the show. I understand the ratings are pretty terrific on this show. More and more people are watching it and sampling it and staying with us all night, which I think is great. You know, there was a time when I slept with everybody in New York, and just about. And this is no exception. I'm going to bring Stephen Scott out here, so let's take a break. We'll come back. Stephen's a very fine, wonderful musician who doesn't like me to tell you that his father is Marvin Scott. So we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll bring Steve out. Be right back.
Celebrities have something to say, they head for the stoop.
This is my stoop. I gotta come to the stoop.
Talk Stoop.
I feel like we're so close that we could kiss. This is a whole other kind of stoop.
It's where Cat Greenleaf gets people talking.
What? Really?
Yep.
That's amazing. Yes. Listen, Naked. Do you mind if I call you Naked? Tell me something good.
The best of New York on a stoop in Brooklyn.
The celebrity butts that have graced the stoop.
Talk Stoop, weeknights at 8 on New York Nonstop. Sponsored by Cozy. Life should be delicious.
I'm an anchor and a pilot.
I am passionate about chocolate.
I am a ballerina.
I'm the daughter of a jazz musician.
I am a 4-time New York Golden Glove champion.
I'm my grandpa.
Yeah, I'm a grandma.
I'm interested in the story behind the story.
I'm making this look natural.
I am glamorous.
I'm an anchor and a blues girl.
I am all about my craft.
I am New York.
I am New York.
I'm a New Yorker.
I am New York.
I am New York.
I recommend a steak.
This place is really great. I recommend this place.
We're all about New Yorkers. LX New York. It's the story of the moment. A taste of the best. It's opening night. A helping hand. The characters of New York. The spirit of New York, told our way. LX New York, weekdays at 5. We're all over town.
Last night the show looked like the Home Shopping Channel. We got the buffet set up from Patsy's, and I've been playing around with the Zero, Coke Zero, and tonight I got their actual bottle of Coca-Cola. I'm trying to get them to sponsor the show. I figured that this would be a good way to get some, you know, free food for the show. So, we did that with Sarge's. We're gonna show you my trip through Sarge's a little later on in the show. But anyway, this whole idea of trying to get a sponsor for a show, this is one of those times when you are shameless. You get on the air and you say, if you were Pepsi Cola, you could be here. If you were Dr. Brown's, you could be here. I figure by intimidation we'll get some sponsors. Just having fun. Come on. I mean, you got to lighten up. We do live in a commercial world where everybody really tries to make money at everything. And there's an economy problem right now. You know, when you're out of work in the house, there's 100% unemployment. If you have a job, there's 100% employment. I'm a happy guy. I'm happy to have this particular gig because I was bounced off the radio in April, which many of you know. And if you're just watching for the first time, don't know who I am. My name is Joey Reynolds, and this is a television show that's on the air on NBC Nonstop every night between midnight and 2. So that's it, simply put. And Stephen Scott, who is invited to come to this show, and for some reason, he blew a mic tonight. I don't know what's happening with him, but we're going to bring him out here. He does a lot of sound effects with his voice, and that's probably what happened. But here's Stephen Scott. Come on, Steve, bring that new mic and come on in here and do your thing here.
At this hour. Turn off the television and go to bed. How are you, Joey?
You sound like your father.
I know, right?
Sit down.
Master.
Move a chair a little closer here.
I'll move closer. Ooh, you want to be close to me, Joey?
So you don't want me to? You don't want me?
It looks like we called each other up.
I know.
What are you wearing? You wearing the blazer with the blue sweater?
When I get home, you got a girlfriend from Buffalo.
I do. That's why you like me.
And
that's why I like her.
I want to be close to someone who has a snowsuit. No, I'm really happy to have you here because, you know, when we were on the radio, you used to come and visit me a lot.
Absolutely.
But you never I met your father first.
Yes, yes, you did.
And he came and he did the show.
He's older than me.
No, wait a minute. I mean, I want to say this because we'll probably have him on the show here unless somebody has a problem with it in television. But, you know, he was an Emmy Award winner.
Yes. He still is an Emmy Award.
Well, but what did he get? He got about 4 of them or 5 of them.
The Emmys. Yeah, he's got 7 of them, actually.
Does he?
7 Emmy Awards.
And he's very formal, and he's a friar, which you are.
Oh, he's very formal. Let me tell you something. His pajamas have a jacket and tie. That's how formal he is. He's very.
But he got you into the Friars, right?
Well, I mean, it was osmosis. I mean, I'd been going there, and it just got to a point where people are like, "Why don't you join?" You know. And I said, "Oh, I can't afford this." And they said, "No, we make it affordable for younger members to come in." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so a whole bunch of young comics joined the club, and so now we got a little new. You know, we got a kindergarten going on.
Why are you taller than me?
I'm sitting up straight.
Am I sitting in a bad chair here tonight?
Yes, it's an anchorman's trick. You got to sit up straight like this.
Is that what it is?
Like you got to pull up your behind.
Tom Brokaw's been making appearances.
Tom Brokaw.
Tom Brokaw.
Tom Brokaw, kind of the fleecing of America. And coming to NBC News later tonight, an in-depth look at stand-up comedy. Is it funny?
I love your impressions.
Well, thank you.
You made a good impression on me.
Oh, well, that's good.
But you don't imitate me.
You know, I used to do, on the Martin Cadillac commercials, I used to have your voice. But it's been a while. I got to get it back in practice, and I'll come on the show, and I'll do my joke.
You know what happened to Martin Cadillac?
I know. They're gone. All the Cadillacs are gone.
No, turn around. It's right out there. Come on, Daniel.
Right there? Where is it?
This is, well, there was a cop earlier toying with the idea of giving me a ticket.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah,
now look at, you see that car?
Yeah.
That's a Martin Cadillac. Now right behind it, Daniel, go to the truck behind it. It has a ticket on the window. See? Now you know how you're under the witness protection program? You know what you have to do?
You're powerful.
You
have to bribe a city official?
Yeah, right, like you try that one. I don't think
that's been done.
No, you know what? Charlie Ringo thought he was above the law. Right. You know, and he's my landlord. I got a little slummy apartment. No, but you know, everybody thinks they're above the law when they get power, like the President of the United States. Clinton thought that, Nixon thought it, you know, I mean, come on.
I'd say, Joey, I don't get into the politics, and I'll tell you why. Because it's so childish now. I watch TV, I feel like I'm watching 4th graders in the schoolyard having a fight during recess. It's going to get to the point where you're going to see President Obama have to address Congress like this. All right, look, as I've said before, I will say again, I am the rubber. You are the glue. So whatever you say is going to bounce off me and stick to you. Nanny, nanny, poo, poo. I I know you are, but what am I?
Well, you've been known for going on cruises.
Well, that's not what I'm known for.
Well, you are known for. You're known for snaring free trips around the world.
The weather's a lot, but yes. That's
by
true.
entertaining. You just come back from the Caribbean.
Yeah, I have actually.
Then why are you sitting in makeup earlier today?
That was a big mistake, by the way.
Was it?
Well, look at all the snow we got out here. I was in 80-degree weather the other day. But no, I'll tell you something, Joey. It's fun. I've gotten to travel the world. I've been on all 7 continents, including Antarctica.
Yeah.
But that's a long story. I made a wrong turn off the turnpike and got lost. But no, but so it's really exciting. I really have seen the world, and it's been great. And I enjoy it. And you're in these theaters, and these ships are huge. Let me tell you something. These ships, I was on one recently. The biggest ship in the world has 6,000 passengers plus 2,000 crew. That's 8,000 people on a ship. It's like a floating city at sea.
Yeah.
You know when a ship might be getting a little too big is when it actually has a bad neighborhood. That's when you need to draw the line. Because deck 3 after 8 p.m. you did not want to be hanging around. No, they got crazy things on these ships. They got bowling alleys, they got surfing, they got rock climbing. The one I was on had a giant street promenade going down the middle of the ship where they had like bars and stores on either side and like homeless people laying around and stuff. The traffic was bad. I couldn't get a cab all week. I don't understand why they put a Costco on there. I think that was going a little far, but you know, you got to get off the ship, back up the truck. Beep, 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 beep. What, they were on sale.
And you got 100 rolls of toilet paper.
Exactly.
We have a Costco in our neighborhood now.
Yes, you do. It's your next door neighbor to Costco.
It's ruined the neighborhood because people don't want to pay to park. It's $5 to park in that garage.
Ah, that's how they get you.
In the most poverty area in the world, you know. And we have also welfare. You know, we have a lot of people on welfare, and they take food stamps at Costco.
Oh, no kidding!
It's the only Costco in the whole country that takes food stamps.
I gotta get me some of those.
Yeah, well, you gotta.
Do they take Monopoly money? Because I have.
If you're a comic, you got a good shot at it.
Okay, I'll work that out.
Now,
smooth.
are you going to do some of these impressions for us tonight?
Well,
no, I mean you're doing them, but are you going to do some of the vocal ones? You know, the musical ones.
I know you enjoy them, so absolutely, I'll be happy to do them. And I know you got a little keyboard over there, and we'll have a little bit of fun. Absolutely.
I want to move it to that staging area.
Okay, we can do that.
Because we can do that. See, in the other station, we couldn't do that.
We couldn't. We were locked in a closet.
All of us were in the closet in that station. Everybody.
Oh, am I making an announcement?
No,
on
no, don't come out
now. My girlfriend would be very surprised.
Yeah, but you have a great act, and I love seeing you work all of the time. But I've seen you over at Dangerfields. Are you still doing that? Or is
all the clubs at Dangerfields, Comic Strips, Stand Up New York, occasionally Caroline's. So it's great to.
Well, Caroline's is the big room, right? That's the one that.
Yes, that's
the one that actually pays you.
Well, they all pay, and
they
not
do?
much. It's not like it's not like I can go buy candy with it, maybe. But no, it's just if you're a paid comic or you're not. But it's not like you don't make a living off the city clubs. It's like going to the gym. You stay fresh, you work out, you stay relevant in the industry, and that's it. And then you go on the road and you make the. They make the big bucks.
Is that where you make your money
actually,
on the
we
road?
make the medium bucks, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how.
I mean, absolutely. Corporate gigs, cruises, colleges, country clubs,
People waving at you. Actually have
hey,
some
how you
fans
doing?
here
I told you to wait in the car. What is it? They don't listen. Hi.
They're pretty and young.
Joey, I like it, but I got to go take care of them. They're cute.
And you thought there were only old people watching television.
Right, I know.
That's because they're all out here.
That's fun. It's like the Today Show.
See, you brought your girlfriend. It's like bringing a sandwich to a banquet. Get out of here. All right, so hold on for a minute, all right? We'll be right back. Let's take a break. Joey Reynolds Show, that's my name, you know.
That's what they tell me.
I don't have to give it. We have name tags, and my name is on a wall here.
Right.
But you're used to it from radio, though. You know, where you have to give your name all the time because nobody knows.
That's right.
And
call them listeners instead of viewers.
Yeah, unless you have a song about you, which there are. I have 1,000. So you're going to do a little song?
Yeah, we'll have some fun.
Absolutely. Stephen Scott, be right back.
Hi, I'm Howard Dvorkin, the founder of Consolidated Credit. For almost 2 decades, Consolidated Credit has helped millions of Americans just like you. We've helped nurses and doctors. We've helped police officers and firefighters. We've helped homemakers and home builders. We've helped over 5 million people suffering from credit card debt. And now we want to help you.
Consolidated Credit is the one company you can trust. Our exclusive Freedom Quest program can help you find options and solutions to your financial challenges. We can reduce your monthly payments by up to 50%, consolidate your bills into one easy payment, save you thousands in interest and fees, and help you get out of debt fast.
When credit card debt is the problem, we're the solution. We've helped over 5 million people. Let us help you.
You're one call away from financial freedom.
Call Consolidated Credit now. 1-800-440-2181. 1-800-440-2181.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC desktops and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
All right, now Stephen Scott is here, and Stephen's got a little bit of a Stephen Scott.
Yeah,
Stephen's got a little bit of talent, and your mother, when you were growing up, which
I was deprived. I always wanted to be a musician. Not that I don't love being a comedian, because where else could I get paid money to do the same stuff? They used to get me punished when I was a kid. That's how that worked out.
You're not going to amount to anything making those noises.
Wrong. Anyway, no, I always wanted to play music, and I never got to because I live in an apartment building. So every time I used to ask my mom to get me a musical instrument, I used to get the same speech, which was,
no, you cannot have music. We live in an apartment building. It's going to be too loud. You're going to disturb the neighbors. No.
So I'd go, all my friends kept getting these musical instruments. Like, my friend Dave got a drum set, my friend Doug got a trumpet. So I'd go to Dave's house, play on the drums, and I'd come home and I didn't have a drum set. So I had to like pretend with my voice and my imagination I could have any instrument I wanted. So I'd be like, I'd get like, all right, he's got the bass, which is like a boom, boom, boom. He's got the one in front of it, there's a snare, it's like a boom, boom, boom. And I'd practice, I'd be like, boom, 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 boom. See what I mean? And then I started to learn. So my friend Doug played the trumpet, and he let me try it once. I wasn't very good at it. And I said, Mom, can I get a trumpet?
No, it's going to be too loud. You're going to disturb the neighbors.
No!
And then her head spun around and exploded. It was really sad. But so he would play on the real trumpet, and I'd sit next to him, and we'd do scales just with my voice. I'd be like, so I started teaching myself all the instruments in the orchestra, learned some saxophone, little harmonica. And then my favorite, when I got to high school and got into my wild and crazy heavy metal years, what instrument did I want to learn how to play?
Uh-oh, the guitar.
No, accordion, but that was easy. No, he's right, guitar, electric guitar. So I go in my room, whip out my best imaginary Fender Stratocaster, like, yeah.
Great.
So anyway, so I've learned to play at the same time and do that and kind of make it seem like we got a little band going on.
Well, let's hear the band.
All right, let's make it happen.
Oh boy! If we can only imitate a large audience.
A large audience, I know.
Yeah. Can we do that? Can you make it?
That's like a
You got it. You got it down. Well, you're great. You're great.
Thanks,
Steve.
Joey.
Always.
And you're great too. And I love being with you here. And I'm really happy you got this new show. We're proud of you.
Well, you know what? We've worked hard, each of us, for different reasons. And my whole mission was to get a big space like this. And their mission is to get me outside.
Hey, I know,
They never-
cold. You're from Buffalo, you can handle that weather.
No, not right.
They should know, it's freezing out. So seriously, my nipples can't handle this weather.
Oh,
you could
well.
cut diamonds with these babies right now. It's bad. It's bad.
Well, they like when I go outside, you know.
Oh,
and,
cool.
And so they keep pushing me out the door. And we're going to take a little trip.
Okay, a little trip?
Yeah.
Ooh, we're going to go to the land of make-believe.
We're going to go out and we're going to meet the folks. See,
Okay,
a lot of people are afraid to go out and meet the audience.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have a bad show, I can understand that.
Yeah, this is true. So I'll get back to you.
Okay, sounds good.
So we'll take a trip outside, and then we'll come back in, and we'll
have some hot chocolate. That would be great.
Yeah, no, we have some food
Sit by
tonight.
the fire. Oh, good.
Pastrami.
Yes, it was
You'll
good.
like that. All right.
It was
From
delicious.
We'll be right back. We're in front of NASDAQ's market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway, and the mall. We're on the mall. And, you know, behind me is the world's biggest playground, and we are in the sandbox and having fun on the swings. Now, you don't know who I am. I don't know who you are. I just ran into you in Times Square, right?
That's correct.
They say if you stand here for 15 minutes, you'll run into someone you know. How are you?
I'm doing good. Every day above ground is a good day.
This is true. I'm Joey.
Hi, Joe.
What's your name?
Joe.
Another Joe. And what about you?
Tara.
Yeah, you two look like you're in love, and you got, is this a love child?
No.
I'm Joey Reynolds.
Oh, Joey Reynolds.
You sound like Boston.
Oh, of course I am, Boston.
Oh, my God. Irish.
Yes.
Politics.
Boston Irish.
Democrats.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Come on.
Oh, you're not from Boston.
No, we're from New York. Forget about Boston.
Thank God.
Forget about you guys.
New York, please.
Yeah.
You remember Shea Stadium?
No, we're Yankee fans here.
Oh, we remember.
Remember it?
Yeah.
Remember the Mets? You ever heard of them?
Yeah, we heard of them.
How often do the Mets win?
Never.
Twice. Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Good.
My name is Joey. What's yours?
Ashlyn,
Where are you from?
California.
Where? California's a state.
The southern part.
Does Spider-Man want to talk? I think they want to talk more than you do. Do you remember all these names? I don't. What's your name?
My name is Renee.
Where are you from?
Long Island.
What about you?
Mel.
Mel. Just Mel or Renee. Are you married or you're just having fun with each other?
Just having fun.
That's what I thought.
But this is my boy right here. We're going to do a freestyle about Reynolds rap. I'm like a kettle with tap water. I'm boiling, trying to put the soil in. I'm chilling. And we in Times Square, and the time's near, and I'm looking at my boy right here.
It's New York City. We love it.
You keep saying that. You must be Nonstop New York.
Nonstop.
Are you having nonstop love?
Yes.
We're not Met fans. We're Yankee fans.
No kidding. Geez, I couldn't figure that out.
I'm from Thousand Oaks.
Oh, yeah? Well, I lived in the Valley. I used to live in Calabasas. You know where that is?
Not really.
It's down the road from you. From this window here.
Oh, that's perfect.
That every night in that NASDAQ window, 10 o'clock.
You're going to see me there every day, bro.
And you are going to be my guest on my show.
I will be your
But
guest.
you have to climb through the roof to get in.
That's right. I will.
You're my new family.
Oh, okay. We'd love to be your family.
Adopting me.
I love it. I love it.
You want an older brother?
Sure. We're taking a little walk. We're supposed to be in Barcelona, but our flight was canceled. And here we are trying to make the best of it.
You know what I mean? But Reynolds rap is definitely the name. I'm coming out strong. I'm swinging, and I want New York City and the whole world to recognize me and Joe Reynolds. We're going to take it there to the top.
So this is a new show. I'm Joey Reynolds. You don't know who I am, do you?
No.
You don't care either.
No.
Yeah.
All right, Joey.
Where you from?
What are you going to be when you grow up and be my size?
I have no idea.
Well, you know, we're happy to have you, Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Welcome
you
to
too,
my
man.
backyard.
All right. I'm going to protect your backyard, brother.
And I'm going to go out with Wonder Woman next week.
All right.
This is New York.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you know where you are.
Oh, no, we definitely know where we are.
People from Boston get disoriented.
No, we know totally where we are.
Your idea of the Middle East is New Haven.
All right, come on, Joe. Now you're getting out of line here.
So we wound up in Brooklyn Diner.
Good. That Brooklyn Diner's all right.
Thank you, Burt Reynolds. I really appreciate it. Joey.
Burt's
Reynolds.
older.
Burt Reynolds. Joey Reynolds. Reynolds Rap. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate the hospitality and the love that you show me out here. Without people like you, people like me would be nobody.
Now, this is a new show. I've been on WOR radio for about 14 years on an all-night show. They had me in a closet. I'm out of the closet now.
You came out of the closet?
We're going to be on the television, you know. And yeah, well, yeah, you're going to see your face. You want to see it without the braces?
Yeah.
I'll come back in a few years.
Okay.
No, but really wonderful to have you in the neighborhood. You keep us free from crime.
You already know, brother. That's how we do, you know.
So where'd you steal that from? You know what they call the people who like the Red Sox from New York?
I can't even.
Dead. All right, so you'll be able to see our show and hear us and listen to some of the great talent we got in New York that doesn't usually get exposed. Right here, we're going to expose everybody. They're going to open their coats and flash you. Be on the air with us, too. Come on down to NASDAQ. We're going to be here at 10 o'clock every night, and you'll watch us on TV between midnight and 2 on New York Nonstop.
Hi, I'm fitness celebrity Jennifer Nicoli. And if you're busy like me, then stay tuned because I'm excited to share with you the most innovative piece of exercise equipment ever.
Introducing the Ab Circle Pro, the fastest, easiest way to have the flat washboard abs and the sexy V-shape you've always wanted.
Are you struggling to lose those love handles nobody loves? Now there's a machine so advanced, it targets your entire core, upper, middle, and lower abs, and even your obliques, all in one circular motion, as it aerobically burns fat in just minutes a day.
The secret is the Ab Circle Pro combines cardio and abs to burn fat, while its unique friction-free track uses the momentum of gravity to target your entire midsection in a full circular motion, firing your core like no other machine has ever done. You'll firm and flatten your stomach in just weeks, not months. We guarantee it. Best of all, it's fun and easy and takes just 3 minutes a day. And watch this. Simply remove the pin, and the Ab Circle Pro becomes a fat-burning bun and thigh machine.
On the Ab Circle Pro, I lost almost 3 dress sizes in a few short weeks.
With the Ab Circle Pro system, I've now lost 60 pounds, I feel great, and I'm one hot mama.
And now, through this exclusive TV offer, the Ab Circle Pro can be yours to try in your home for 30 days for just $14.95. And if you call within the next 10 minutes, we'll send you Jennifer Nicoli's complete Lose Your Love Handle system, which includes our 3-minute express workout and nutritional guide, absolutely free. That's everything you need to transform that body from flab to ab.
You have nothing to lose but inches, so pick up the phone and call now.
Call 1-800-709-1301 to try Ab Circle Pro for $14.95 plus shipping with credit card order. Call now for a free upgrade to priority processing so you'll get your Ab Circle system in 7 to 10 days or less. That's 1-800-709-1301. Call now.
Comedy Matters. That's the name of a sheet that comes out, which is a publication from Jeff Gurian, who is a friar, just like Stephen Scott here is. And we're going to bring a fellow friar out here. He's one of you. I figure you'll be a little more comfortable.
Yes, I know.
You'll have someone you really want.
I need other friars here to gang up on you.
Someone you really want to talk to.
Why aren't you a friar?
Because I sleep past noon and I can't afford lunch.
You just let us take you out all the time.
That's right. So here's Dr. Jeffrey Gurian. Jeff, come on down. Look at, he takes a long walk.
I know, he's strolling.
Why do I feel like we're at
yellow brick road?
We're at a boxing event.
The yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow tape road.
All right,
How
Jeff.
are you, Joey? Great to see you.
Great.
Oh, wow, wonderful. Hi, Steve.
Where's my sugar, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
No. Come here, plant one on me.
What a fantastic,
By the time we hug each other, the show will be over.
All right. Can we
Thank
have a little
God.
alone time, please?
All right, now, Jeff, you have a wonderful way about you, and you do a lot of great things. Mostly you are a goofball comic. And when you check out of the supermarkets these days, as was, I guess, started by Mr. Pope years ago with the Inquirer. There's the Globe, Weekly World News,
Weekly World
News. The Globe. What's the other one?
Sun.
The Sun. All those David Pecker, the American Media.
But you wrote for all of these guys.
Well, I used to write for a Weekly World News. I had my own column called Gurian's World of the Bizarre.
And one of the great ones, which you know I love, is the wooden pants.
The wooden pants.
The guy with the wooden pants.
Do you know that showed up at the Cannes Film Festival?
Can I just clear something up? Is it wooden pants or wood in pants? Because there's a very big distinction that needs to be made there.
And
George Washington.
You're probably a member of the Splinter Group.
You heard.
A lot of people, we grew up learning that George Washington had wooden teeth.
Right.
But the truth is that he wore wooden pants. They're in the Smithsonian Institute. As a young child, he had to stand on a chair and jump into his pants. He was very poor. His father made his diapers out of bark. You remember the story when he chopped down the cherry tree?
Oh, no, he chopped
it. It was to get softer wood for his pants.
Oh, my God.
Because he had been wearing mahogany pants. And you know how uncomfortable mahogany pants are. That's why they don't make them anymore.
You got to wear the balsa pants.
You remember in that famous painting when he was crossing the Delaware?
Yes.
That's why he was standing up in the boat. Because you can't sit down in wooden pants.
And he had wooden teeth, too, right?
No, that was the rumor. It was the wooden pants. That's where it got confused. They thought he had wooden teeth, but it was the wooden pants all along.
I see.
So those stories, I made films out of them, and they wound up in the Cannes Film Festival. And about a month ago on, you know, Adam.com?
Yes.
They featured one of these films on the homepage. College professor fired for casually removing his spine. Because you can't do that. You can't go to class and remove body parts and expect the students to help reinsert them. And that's what was happening. And the students didn't want the responsibility. See, due to an accident, he was left with a removable spine that he had to take out periodically in order to clean. And he was taking it out in class, and he would slump to the floor in a pile of clothing. Just his face would be looking up, and he'd say, "Please help me put my spine back in." And the students revolted. They said, what if it goes in wrong? You know what I mean? They didn't want to be responsible for that, you know? So, so I took all those stories and I created GNN, Gurian News Network.
Right.
Which is all the news that's fit to dance to.
And you're also a dentist. We should mention that.
That was a nasty rumor, by the way.
Well, you were teaching it at NYU.
Do you know when it started, though? But do you know when that rumor started? The day I graduated from dental school. And, and I can't get rid of it. You know what I mean?
We know what the DDS stands for.
What is that?
Duller than doggy do.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And
meanwhile, I'm just so glad that you got a TV show.
I know. I'm glad I have a job.
I don't have to put on those stinking headphones on my hair anymore.
No.
That used to stop me from coming in. I used to love the radio show, but I had to leave with headphone hair. You know how some people have hat hair?
Grown enormously since we've known each other. You need a barber.
I know.
All right, so you have dentistry and you have comedy in your genes. You got Comedy Matters. You've got you celebrate all of the great comics. You do films with them. I mean, you're all the way around. And the thing that you and I got very bonded on was Wayne Dyer, who is my friend.
Well, you gave me the tremendous opportunity to be on a show with Wayne Dyer. Not only Wayne Dyer, but Marianne Williamson as well, when she was launching one of her books.
Course in Miracles.
Right, but I got to sit on your show with Wayne Dyer. We spent the whole show together, and it was an amazing experience. And he and I have kept in touch ever since. He's just a fantastic guy. But that was thanks to you, because you were so kind to do that. You knew how interested I was in him, and you called me up, and I was able to share thoughts with him about healing and consciousness, you know.
And your real work, which is to help people who stutter.
Yeah, that's my great love.
Having had The Stammering, which is the film that is now The King's Speech, I want to bring Neil Rosen out here, because Neil is a movie critic, as you know.
Right.
And we got a lot of time to talk, you know. That's a good thing.
Good.
But you want to bring Neil now? You want to do that now? Okay, Neil Rosen, bring him out. Come on, Neil.
Should we clap?
People are thinking they got the wrong channel on. Isn't this New York 1?
Looks a little like the New York 1 studio, actually. You know?
Look like the Hello,
Joey.
Neil.
Joey, how are you? Joey and I go back.
Yes, we do.
A long time.
I want to tell the great story about Neil, just for the new audience that doesn't know this. When I met Neil, I had a radio show on NBC, WNBC Radio.
Look how we've come full circle.
We have. We're back with the Peacock.
We're back where we started, Joey. This is.
I can't get away from them. You know, I've worked for them 3 times. So having the radio show, which replaced Howard Stern a few months later, you know, they didn't really bring me in and say, "Can you top this?" But, you know, a few months later, they hired me. They needed someone because no one was cutting the cheese. You know, well, that's not a good.
That's no, it's not. Can we edit the show?
Yeah, never mind.
That's
So
not a special skill for your resume. I don't want to put that up.
So I had Neil on, and Neil was at that time just beginning. You know, he was just graduated from college, and he's a young guy who wants to be a movie critic. And in the studio with me was Howie Mandel, who's putting a rubber glove over his face.
Who had hair. He had a full head of hair at the time.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He was still shaking hands
and Arnold
with people
Schwarzenegger.
then, too, right? Yes.
And Schwarzenegger's film was not the best one. And Neil...
Predator. The movie was Predator.
Well, we had Neil come out to review the film.
In front of
to give him his first shot on broadcasting. So Neil starts to make fun of the film. You know, and he's telling everybody how it sucks.
Basically, it did, yeah. But I told it to Arnold's face, really. Pretty much.
Oh, yeah, telling right out. You know,
gave it 2 thumbs up his butt.
Well, so Howie Mandel
Mandel
says, "What are you crazy? You got the strongest man in the country here, and you're telling him you don't like his movie? You got to be nuts." And
then you cut my mic, but I had the great line is, yeah, I go, "You're calling me nuts? This is a guy who wears a rubber glove on his head." Like this.
So Neil goes on to be the big movie critic in New York now, right?
Isn't that something?
And Arnold's governor of California, and Howie Mandel's rich and famous again, you know.
And here we are back at NBC.
Yeah, and everybody's got something good happening now. Isn't that wonderful to celebrate
incredible.
this?
Yeah, it's an amazing thing.
And I got a job as an older man.
Joey gave me my
That's the job as an older man?
My first job, literally, my first paycheck ever in the entertainment business was from NBC, from your show. It was in the was it 84 or what was it, 85, 83?
Yeah, it was like in 1985.
Yeah, but that's yeah.
So then there's hope for all of us.
I'm eternally,
I'm still waiting for that check.
Eternally grateful to you, Joey, for
Joey's helped so many people. No, he really has.
It's true. You know, Neil's been really, he stuck to his guns. He knew what he wanted, he went after it, and he made it work. And he took the opportunity and you ran with it. I mean, that's what you've done. You raise a family and you stay on the job, I mean, which is better than I've done. How long have you been there now? About 20 years?
At New York 1, tomorrow, February 1st, yeah, February is 18 years. 18 years with New York 1. That's a long time.
Can you imagine that you stayed somewhere like that?
18 years. It's pretty, you know, if they told me that the day I walked in there, 18 years later I would still be there, I would be like, really, you know, but...
That's high.
That's high. That's
18
right.
years. That's what people say to each other.
I want to take a little break here, and then we'll come back, because I want to talk a little bit about this Colin Firth film. You know, I mean, last year I saw Single Man, which I thought was great, and he did not win an Academy Award for it. I think he may have been. Was he nominated?
He was nominated. He was nominated for.
So last year he was a queen. This year he's a king. But we'll be right back. Let's take a break.
I can't believe it. This is the 3rd time this month my PC crashed. The last crash cost me $2,500 and they only restored a portion of my data.
You should check out this new online backup software called Desk Protect. I can easily recover from a crash at any time.
Desk Protect? Must be complicated.
Not at all. With Desk Protect, you just run a simple installation process, and within minutes, you can select the data you need protected.
Sounds expensive.
How's less than $6 a month sound?
$6 a month. Even I can afford that.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC desktops and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop. I'm happy to have my friends here. You know, have Neil Rosen, who is a top critic in New York City, and also, Jeff Gurian, who's a dentist gone wrong. Now, Neil, you didn't know that, and Stephen Scott. I'm sorry,
thank
Steve.
you.
I love Steve.
By the way, can I say, are we one sexy-looking news team or what? Right?
Oh,
this
God.
is
We're going to go to Scott with the weather.
With the weather.
Right after
Neil
you.
Rosen with sports. Dun, 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 dun.
You know, Connie Chung is starting to look good at this point. Remember
we
that?
do look like a news team.
Right?
Well, wait, let's talk about that for a second. Your father's a newsman. You can do an impression of your dad, but wait a minute. He's probably, did he go to Egypt?
No, he did not. We've been there before.
They sent Katie
He
Couric
keeps trying to send him there, but he won't go. That's the
what
problem.
is this whole big thing then? Well, it's drama.
But he
It's drama.
does have Egyptian cotton sheets, if that,
Right.
you know,
No,
means
no,
anything.
no.
Your dad went to Israel. I remember your dad did a whole like 6-part
he did
series
with
on
when Rabin was shot and all that. Yeah, he's traveled. Like, he was in Iraq a couple times in the last few years with the troops. So he gets out there. He keeps
Do
very
your
busy.
impression. Come on.
Well, I always say, people say, what's it like having a dad as a newscaster? I say, you know what? It's tough when you get in trouble when you're a kid because they have this loud broadcaster voice. It puts the fear of God in. My dad was a big scolder. He would invent things. He once actually said to me, he goes, "Hey, knock it off. You know, when I was your age, I was a lot older than you." But the worst is if ever I was so bad that my mom would have to go and call him up at work. See, that was bad because he was already in that newscaster frame of mind. So whenever I'd get yelled at, I always felt like I was a breaking story. Because he'd pick up the phone in that newscaster cadence, he didn't play like, "How's your father? Yeah, your mother just told me what you did. I'll tell you something, mister, you're in a lot of trouble. And you're going to get it when I get home. Tonight at 11. So yeah, I've gotten used to it over there.
At 10.
At 10, yes. You know where your host is.
Now, Neil, to you for a second, because we got the Academy Awards coming up, and Jeff Gurian works with stammerers. Did you know that?
Yes, I did actually. We were talking in the green room beforehand.
He used to stutter.
Very badly.
You were a bad stutterer.
I couldn't even say my name.
As King George VI in the King's Speech?
He stuttered in a different way. I was a blocker very often. I couldn't get any words out at all. I certainly couldn't say Gurian. Most stutterers have a hard time saying their own names. My feeling is that because your name is your identity, and if you're not comfortable with who you are, then you can't really tell people. It's an interesting thing that stutterers have a really hard time with their own names. I went to many speech therapies. No one was able to help me. And I realized something that was very important, that most stutterers don't stutter when they're alone. I realized that I could go into a room by myself and I could say all the things that I wanted to say to someone else
in the
without
King's
stuttering.
Speech. They put the headphones on him, and
There are
Jeffrey
a lot of-
Rush's character was
Right.
like, and he was like reading like Shakespearean.
If you block your
iambic
voice,
pentameter.
there was a lot of great things in that movie. I am so happy. You know, I don't see a lot of films, but I went to see that specifically because of that.
Well,
And
I
it's
interviewed
a great
Colin
message.
Firth, and I said, "How did?" And he goes, "There's tons of recordings. I mean, you know, King George, who he was playing, it wasn't like in the 1800s. I mean, those speeches were filmed, and there are many audio recordings. So he is a great actor.
He
so
did
he
a
kind
fabulous
of
job.
what you said.
I felt nervous.
Well, he will win. He will win the.
I would
he's won
hope
every
so.
other. There's too many award shows, Joey. I have to tell you this. Years ago there was the Oscars for movies, and there was the Emmys for television, and there was the Tonys for Broadway, and there were the Grammys for music. And when the Oscars came on, it was like, oh, who's going to win? But now there's like an award season, and it's ridiculous. I mean, there's the Critics' Choice Awards. 2 days later, there's the Golden Globe Awards. We just had the SAG Awards. There's the People's Choice Awards. I mean, I could go on and on and on. By the time you get to the Oscars, it's like, well, let's see what Colin Firth's 18th acceptance speech is going to be. You know, we varied it up a little bit from the third one, but it was kind of like the 7th one. I mean, it's just like so, you know, and I cover this stuff, and it's so anticlimactic. It's like, you know, I sat there live. We take the nominations live on New York One. And I mean, I literally had it printed out what the 10 best pictures were going to be. And except for The Town, which didn't get nominated, 9 of the 10 got nominated. And, you know, I had 1 or 2 other possibilities, and that other possibility snuck in there. So, I mean, it's just, I could tell you what's going to win. I mean, there's really no excitement in this whole thing anymore.
Well, I'm on the sex tapes with James Franco. I held the camera.
Can I say something? I thought that the Miley Cyrus movie got snubbed. That should have been in there.
I think it's just the Oscars. I think they should move the Oscar show up actually to like before all these other shows, and because by the time, even though the Oscar still has that cachet that it's the Oscars,
right. Yeah.
I mean, and maybe I'm too close to it because I cover all this stuff, and I just maybe the general public doesn't watch. No, I'm stammering. Look at this.
Wait.
Doesn't watch.
I'll give you my card.
Wait a minute. We overdo everything right now. That's the point. You know, look at how we do with politics. And everybody's fighting to go to Egypt. Like CNN during the Gulf War happened to have been there, and it made Larry King a star, I think, because that was the event that was leading into his show.
Well, we do overdo everything. You know, you had a great monologue on Friday night. We were talking, you know, about the fact that all these shows, they're the same show. I mean, it's basically The Insider and Entertainment Tonight and Access Hollywood. And, you know, tonight I was actually watching it, and they were doing coverage of the SAG Awards, and then the show that followed it, it was like, we're going to be backstage at the SAG Awards. It's the same.
Same 7 people.
It's the same 7 people. It's the Snooki Jersey Shore people, and it's the Kardashian people, and it's Paris Hilton, and it's Lindsay Lohan.
All right, I'm going to hit. I got an oddball question.
Go ahead.
Why are they showing pregnant women with slinky gowns? What is that? All of a sudden, you know, you got.
I noticed that.
Yeah,
Natalie Portman wore it.
And there was another one too.
Usually it's a form. Now it's a form-fitting thing. You know?
What happened to maternity outfits? You know, you come out great with child. I mean, all of a sudden you got
baby bumps are in.
It's like the 8-track tape player. It's
I don't know.
Very old school.
But I kind of like that. I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing. I don't think you need. I mean, it's an old school mentality. I guess it's like, oh, let's hide the fact that she's pregnant. I mean, you know, and didn't Demi Moore do that Vanity Fair cover where she was, you know, so.
It's like embracing it, I guess, and making it part. You know,
woman. Natalie Portman's a beautiful woman. I mean, so you know.
You know what we're going to have here on Friday night?
Who?
I'm going to have 4 drag queens dressed as the Kardashians.
That's going to be fun.
And they're going to be a Don't Tell Mama.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have them pregnant. Come out with. No, but those slinky gowns are accents.
You don't like the slinky gowns.
Oh, I like them, but not when you're pregnant. I mean, it's like it's.
He likes them, but they chafe when he wears them.
Well, the question is what is Natalie Portman going to wear to the Academy Awards? Because despite it being anticlimactic, that is the premier event. So one wonders if she will wear something that hides her pregnancy or will accentuate her pregnancy. You know, so one wonders. But then again, there's too much coverage on that too. It's like what are you wearing? And
I just want to ask.
I would have a gown made out of the red carpet. Just get it over with. Vacuum me.
Let me ask you, as a non-stutterer, when you guys saw the film, what did you think of Colin Firth's performance? Did he feel like he was really stuttering?
Well,
because it made me nervous.
I'm going to be dead honest with you. Last year, I loved Single Man. Right. And I did not know Tom Ford is a designer, and he's he made his first film. And I went with a friend from Amsterdam, from Europe. You know, they think a little differently. They're artistic.
Right. Yes.
And
autistic?
No, artistic. So I loved the picture, and I said, God, this guy is great. You know, I wasn't familiar with him or Tom Ford or his clothes. You know, I don't know him too much from his clothes. So this year, when he came out with this other film, I thought, I hope it's as good as the other one. I hope it doesn't ruin it. And this one is even 5 times what that picture was. So, and I thought of you.
Tom Ford, you know, didn't direct.
No, he did not
Ford
direct this
didn't do
but
this.
But the director won the award, the Golden Globe or something.
Oh, he's going to. Well, David Fincher is going to win the Academy Award, which is kind of a. I think, you know, I like The Social Network, but
I do too. But that kid's not ready yet.
But you know, David Fincher, who's going to win, it's a slam dunk. He's going to win Best Director for that movie at the Academy Award. I mean, even though You know, Black Swan, whether you think it's a weird movie or you dislike it, it's a better directorial job. Inception, Christopher Nolan, who didn't even get nominated for director. I mean, again, if you don't understand, a lot of people don't even understand the film. I'm confused by that film. But from directorially, I mean, it's fascinating visually. You know, Social Network, just if you best director, it's kind of a cut and paste job in a way. I mean, you know, you put a camera in a room, you film a couple of scenes, and I mean,
Aaron Sorkin said, you know, the reason it's as good as the challenge of filming something as boring as typing on a keyboard and making it feel like an action sequence and suspenseful, you know, giving it a little movement and character.
Well, since we're sitting in Times Square, there was a great Aaron Sorkin play that played on Broadway a few years ago called The Farnsworth Invention.
Oh, yes.
And The Farnsworth Invention is the Social Network is actually a lot of like the Farnsworth Invention.
Well, because they're stealing of the
yeah, it's kind of like they replaced Sarnoff with Zuckerberg.
And we shouldn't be talking this way on NBC. These are the guys who invented television, remember? They say.
Right, well, they credited it to Vladimir Zworykin, but it was really
we have to take a break. We're right back here on the Farnsworth Network, which is the invention of television. That's all NBC has to say. We invented the damn thing. You know, I mean, why are they doing these other campaigns? We invented the damn thing. Leave us alone.
That would be a good.
We'll be right back.
Good slogan.
Oh yeah. We got the Tin Pan performance coming up.
When New York celebrities have something to say, they head for the stoop.
This is my stoop. I gotta come to the stoop.
Talk Stoop.
I feel like we're so close that we could kiss. This is a whole other kind of stoop.
It's where Cat Greenleaf gets people talking.
What? Really?
Yep.
That's amazing. Yes. Listen, Naked. Do you mind if I call you Naked?
Tell me something good. The best of New York on a stoop in Brooklyn.
The celebrity butts that have graced the stoop.
Talk Stoop, weeknights at 8 on New York Nonstop. Sponsored by Cozy. Life should be delicious.
I'm an anchor and a pilot.
I am passionate about chocolate.
I am a ballerina.
I'm the daughter of a jazz musician.
I am a 4-time New York Golden Glove champion.
I'm my grandpa.
Yeah, I'm a grandma.
I'm interested in the story behind the story.
I'm making this look natural.
I am glamorous.
I'm an anchor and a blues girl.
I am all about my craft.
I am New York.
I am New York.
I'm a New Yorker.
I am New York.
I am New York.
I recommend a steak.
This place is
really
I recommend this place.
We're all about New Yorkers. LX New York. It's the story of the moment. A taste of the best. It's opening night. A helping hand. The characters of New York. The spirit of New York. Told our way. LX New York. Weekdays at 5. We're all over town.
From Times Square in the heart of New York City, welcome to All Night with Joey Reynolds. Joey's guest tonight, comedian actor Stephen Scott. Entertainer and musician George Pettignano. School principal George Albano. Movie critic Neil Rosen. Comedy writer-producer Jeffrey Gurian. And our musical guest, Tin Pan. ladies and gentlemen, Joey Reynolds.
Well, if you missed the radio show, all you got to do is turn the picture off on the TV. It's the same crap. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we on the air? You know, when you're watching the show on television, which is on Nonstop New York, you never know what we're going to do because I don't know what we're going to do, which is mainly the reason why I surround myself with friends, because I never know what they're going to say and they don't know what I'm going to do, and we kind of like mix it up. This is the way it was in the earlier days of television as I opened the show tonight, and I want to recreate that because I'll tell you what we really want to do. We want to present things that aren't there, and sometimes they don't work. And I'm saying it again, as I said in the first hour of the show, because I want people to know that there is a statement of purpose. And I think when you watch this band, you're going to see what we have in New York that you maybe don't know they exist. And this is one of the liveliest, greatest bands we have in the city of New York, and you maybe never saw the Tin Pan. So you're going to see them now. Watch this and listen and get back to me.
You know I do love you, but I'm gonna do what I got to do. I'm just going drinking again. Well, I can't stay in, it's like a prison in here. I see your grin, you don't like my friends. I'm just going drinking again. I will have just one, okay, maybe two, and we'll laugh and I get drunk. Life is for living, and I'm going drinking again. I do love you. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm just going drinking again. I treat you right. I come home every night, just leave on the light. I don't wanna fight. I'm just going drinking again. I will have just a one, or maybe 22. We'll laugh and I get drunk. Yeah, life is for living, and I'm going drinking. Life is for living, and I'm going drinking. Life is for living, and I'm going drinking
You guys are great. You guys are great. Now, you know, it's really difficult for you to talk because you don't have a lot of muscle power. You don't have mics on you. But we got Stephen Scott here. Stephen, can you give us a little impression of this?
Oh, what do you want me him and I to jam?
Oh yeah, do a little jam without this.
We need a little beat or something going. Sure. Give me a little beat or something going on here.
Like it on the funk?
I like key of A flat if we can do that. Yeah, let's do it.
So you want it funky? You want it like swing?
Yeah, rock funk feel. How's that?
Welcome to the new group, Tin Pan.
Lost my trumpet.
Tin Pan and the Knockoff. So it's great, Stephen. I mean, that you're able to do this. How about I just go drinking again? Can you do that? Can you do a little of I just go drinking again?
What's that? Go drinking again? Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a little break. Come right back again. Tin Pan, you guys are great. Thank you for being here tonight. I told you were gonna like them. We'll be right back.
I'm Howard Dvorkin, the founder of Consolidated Credit. For almost 2 decades, Consolidated Credit has helped millions of Americans just like you. We've helped nurses and doctors. We've helped police officers and firefighters. We've helped homemakers and home builders. We've helped over 5 million people suffering from credit card debt. And now we want to help you.
Consolidated Credit is the one company you can trust. Our exclusive Freedom Quest program can help you find options and solutions to your financial challenges. We can reduce your monthly payments by up to 50%, consolidate your bills into one easy payment, save you thousands in interest and fees, and help you get out of debt fast.
When credit card debt is the problem, we're the solution. We've helped over 5 million people. Let us help you.
You're one call away from financial freedom.
Call Consolidated Credit now. 1-800-440-2181. 1-800-440-2181.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC desktops and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
Tin Pan will be back in a little bit, and we got Steve Scott here, and also Jeff Gurian, and my friend Neil Rosen. He's the only one of the bunch I like. So we're going to bring George Albano out here. You know, George is the greatest. I was gonna, almost said greatest principal, but I think he just retired this year. But he did the greatest job at the. I think he ought to be superintendent of schools. Here's George Albano. Bring him out. George, we're going to applaud. We got an audience. No, the principal comes behind. Oh. This is why you rehearse graduation.
Please, have a seat.
How you doing?
Graduation gets rehearsed only for these reasons. Last time I saw you, you were getting an award, the Pope Award.
Well, it's interesting. Jeff was talking about, working for, I think, the Inquirer or the Pope Foundation.
Weekly World News. Well, it's actually David Pecker's foundation. Generoso Pope, I think, started. That's who you were referring to, right?
Yeah.
And
well,
this is his son.
Oh, really?
No, his grandson actually heads the foundation now, and they do an awful lot of wonderful things for Special Ed Olympics and education. And they asked me if I would be honored by them. Basically, they give $50,000 of scholarships per child each year. And I accepted the honor, and a good friend of Joey's was there, Judith Regan, very well respected publicist, and she started her career at Channel 11 with the Pope family.
Oh,
so
really?
It was just an inspiration. Joey came, and I was honored to have Joey there, because truly respect him as a legend in the business.
Well, he
is. He came with Judith Regan.
The Hall of Fame.
Oh. Definitely a Hall of Fame.
Judith and I were recently judges at the Funniest Reporter contest. Have you heard of it? I was telling Neil about it before. Every year there's a contest for the funniest TV reporter in the business, and they get to do stand-up comedy. And Judith and I and Dennis Hoff from the Bunny Ranch were judges this year, because who's funnier than a guy from the Bunny Ranch? How can you know? And it was a great experience.
Well, you know, I was friends with Rod Roddy, who passed away from The Price is Right.
Yeah.
And he left 1,200 of those jackets, those where he looked like a maitre d' in a cockfight, you know, those things. And I inherited them to fundraise for colon cancer.
He left them to you.
Yeah. And so what Dennis Hoff wanted to have those jackets, and I said, make a donation to the colon cancer research, and you can have all the jackets. Well, I mean, they're his size.
Yeah.
And I mean, Rod had several sizes. But George, you know, George is an interesting duck, because his brother's Captain Lou Albano.
Oh, okay.
no kidding.
Who passed away last year.
Yes, I know. I knew your brother. We did the Joe Franklin show many times together.
Well, everybody's been on Joe Franklin.
So with his brother.
I don't think Joe has been on his own. And incidentally, that guy that's on CNN now, who replaced Larry King. What's he going to do when he runs out of all these stars? Is he going to interview himself?
Yeah.
Can I say something? I miss Larry King. What I loved about Larry King is I don't think there's anyone in the history of broadcasting a more eclectic array of people. In 1 week, you would actually hear this on Larry King. And we're back with our remaining moments with former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night for a full hour with Snooki. And Thursday we have a split hour with Nobel laureate Bishop Desmond Tutu and Lady Gaga. A full hour of Tutu and Gaga.
Well, everybody, you know why everybody's going, don't you? Why they're all going? Because they all cost too much money. Regis wanted money. Larry was costing too much. They can't make money on television the way they used to. That's the truth. Why doesn't anyone talk this way? I mean, it's about money. It's not about anything else. They're all going away. The guy on MSNBC, what's his name?
Oberman.
Yeah. It really is truly, they can't make the money. The only way you make money right now is to have Neil Rosen's job.
Yeah, we're rolling in dough. rolling in the cash, absolutely. I heard that Regis, I mean, I read this in the paper, I don't know if this is any truth to this, but I heard that they wanted him to take a pay cut, and that's why
that's what I'm saying. See, well, because television time is not sold the way it used to be. You know, you got to be on more than one platform. That's why we're doing this show. You know, we're going to do, first of all, I work cheap.
I was just going to say that you wouldn't do this for less than millions.
But I want to be oversized. Let's not be foolish.
I work for food. In fact, I'll work for comedy club food. That's how.
And then you'll be a voiceover guy if you get homeless.
No, Joey, you said you work for cheap, but I see a Martin's Cadillac parked out outside the studio here.
Yeah, well, that's my plug.
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about?
The one by me.
Bringing back payola.
George, wait, let's talk about something about education for a second, because we got in New York this week. They're going to close a couple schools. right? Or
Well,
they're talking about
They're
it.
talking about teachers with 5 years and less, thousands of them, being removed from their position. And I think it's a sad commentary on education. As you know, on the West Coast, supposedly the arts capital as far as Hollywood and so on, they don't have arts in the schools. So I think slowly they're just tearing down the system. Neil and I had a wonderful exchange about his own child going to a private school because the public schools didn't seem to offer what they should. And that's a very sad commentary. In my particular case, the school I spent 30 years in was a school that had all the ingredients for failure. High concentration of minorities, high concentration of poverty, yet we were top 10 in America for the last 20 years, academically. And because of that reputation, I managed to keep the arts thriving with classical music concerts and many, many different
And
activities.
donations from Apple, who gave you all the computers.
All the computers
I mean,
were
you hustled
donated.
a lot.
Where
For
was
the
the
kids.
school?
You hustled for the kids.
In Mount Vernon,
Mount
New
Vernon.
York.
Oh, Mount
Vernon.
And when Joey says hustle, I did use the success of the children to barter with major corporations and get benefits. We had chess program for every child, donated by a Greenwich businessman, $50,000 a year for 20 years.
Wow.
The computers, interesting, were donated by an exclusive prep school, Horace Mann. And the reason why? They wanted my minority children because they want diversity.
And you also,
my minority children were very
you also
successful.
rented the Catholic school across the street.
Yeah, when we first went there, the school was integrated. It was an all-white school, and there was a mass exodus of predominantly white parents to the Catholic school. So it went from 13 in the class to 43 in 3 months, and back down to 13 a year later when I took it over, because people weren't running from race; they were running from ignorance.
So
And when they
why
realized
are
it was
you
a good
not? Why are you
education-
not superintendent of schools? What's the reason? Let's be honest on the air.
Honestly, in many cases, in fact, the school I just moved into now, there is resistance from the unions, and I'm very supportive of union. All my children are in education. They're married to educators, 23 in the family, nieces and nephews and so on. And very supportive of unions, but at times when there's a void in leadership, unions tend to become the leaders. And quite often the workers feel that they have to do the bare minimum in order to appease the union. And one interesting thing, if you heard the president's speech, he talked about a school in Denver. Well, the union said, well, look, he's recognizing education. That particular school, the teachers in the school who were in the union protested against the union and said, you know what? We're going to work at lunchtime. We're going to stay after school. We're going to do what we have to do to make these children succeed. So they actually resisted the union cause. And my feeling is unions today have to realize with the economics and the way things are going in this nation, if they don't become a little more reasonable with their demands, you're talking about pensions, you're talking about bankrupting a system. People just can't afford it anymore.
George, what do you think of the fact that Mayor Bloomberg brought to be head of the Board of Education an outsider who did not have experience in? Some people say, "Oh, that's great, she'll shake it up," and some people say that's terrible because she doesn't know how the system works. But you being this, having all this years of experience,
I'm very much for a person that has the background on the education, but I also know what is it, the Good Old Fellas Club. In education, I do think
Good Old Boys Network.
Good Old Boys Network.
Yeah.
Quite often, people that are promoted are people that allow things to be status quo. And I have been controversial as far as my career. I've challenged the system. I've demanded audits of my former district by the state. And I just feel the money has to go to the children. Most of the times it does, and most of the times teachers are really well intended. But every so often, you have a small group that seems to dominate. And it was interesting, Jeff, I was listening to your story, and you're going to have to answer this for me.
Okay.
But we had a little child that was talking about where the parents wanted him to use his right hand, but he was a lefty. And I did some research, and they said quite often when you try to force a behavior on a child,
That's an old theory.
that can lead to
stuttering.
So interesting.
And also, in my case, because I was switched to attention deficit,
Yes.
and also, and dysgraphia and
Well,
dyslexia.
you're left-handed.
I used to eat with my left hand, and then I remember my great-grandfather would smack it and put it in my right hand. And also, whenever I would do
Interesting.
sports or anything, like at camp, and whether golf, baseball, they say,
Make
"Are you
you
a
bat righty when
Right.
you really want
I
to
said,
bat
my
lefty."
mommy says I'm a righty, so they go, "Oh, you got to do it the other way." You know, so there's like home movies of me playing the guitar like Paul McCartney the other way. I did everything lefty, and I was switched over to
My
right.
understanding of that was that it was disproved as a theory. It was an early theory that if you switched, that it would cause stuttering. To me, stuttering is like a bad habit. Most stutterers don't start stuttering till they're about 5 or 6 years old. But you start speaking when you're about 2 years old. So you've already been speaking okay, and then something occurs in your life, and no one does it on a conscious level, because a child is not going to say, I think I should start stuttering. But there are only certain habits that a person can acquire due to stress. You know, you can bite your nails, you can twist your hair, you can tap nervously.
Altering a behavior.
Right, altering of behavior. There are only certain things that a human being can do. No one has a habit that no one else has. So about 3 million people in this country, they stutter as a result, I feel, it's as a result of some stress that's in your life, and that's how it gets translated. Whether it's, I mean, for me personally, I think that it was a lack of confidence, a lack of self-esteem. When I was in college, I forced myself to run for president of the freshman class, and I couldn't say my name. I had to get other students to introduce me. And I told myself if I could win this election, I wouldn't have to stutter anymore, because I had a feeling it had to do with how I felt about myself, because I had already figured out that I didn't stutter when I was alone. I only stuttered when I was trying to talk to somebody. I won the election, and I still stuttered, and it was a great lesson for me, because it taught me that outside validation doesn't work in this life. It doesn't matter how many people tell you you're wonderful and talented and fabulous. It matters how you feel about yourself. Yeah. And I took about the next 3 years to work on myself, and I took my mind apart. I examined all my thoughts, and I found the thoughts that were not valid for me. Because if you start stuttering when you're 5 or 6 years old, that's a choice that you make with a 6-year-old mind. It's no longer valid when you're 25 or 30.
So, Jeff, through self-analysis, you've come to the point where you have an amazing speech.
Thank you.
I mean, amazing.
Thank you. It's one of the, well, now I understand it as being grace. I was given the grace to figure out how to stop stuttering and realizing, and now I help other stutterers.
Which is wonderful.
And how do we get in touch with you for that?
Well, you can do it on my website, or you can email me. My website is jeffreygurian.com.
G-U-R-I-A-N.
Jeffreygurian.com. There's a whole section about stuttering, and if there's anyone out there who's interested, if you read what it says and it makes sense to you, then send me an email at jeffrey@jeffreygurian.com. And I'd be happy to give you information about it.
Jeff, can I mention something just about the left?
Sure.
We were talking about the left hand and the use of it. Interesting, so many successful people, including the Kennedys, including Napoleon.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones,
a
great
great
actor.
One of the greatest orators.
So many wonderful celebrities and dignitaries use their left hand, and parents allow them. So to try to break that habit is a mistake. And as you said,
yes, it is.
I would like to announce that I was toilet trained at gunpoint.
Oh, was that last Thursday?
Well, he came from a rough neighborhood. He had an apartment overlooking a knife.
George Gurian.
George Gurian?
Jeff.
I think when we screw up your name, you get really mad.
I
saw
of
that
all the
earlier.
times I have the chance to be on Joey's show, and he calls me Jurian. I don't know what he made up some kind of
Jeff,
name.
if you get mad, you don't stutter, do you?
No. But that's interesting. Stutterers don't stutter when they yell at you. If you can get them to yell, they hold all their emotions in. But if you can make them yell, like in that movie,
Yeah, that's
he had
interesting.
him curse.
I was just thinking of that in the King's speech.
Because in the moment that you're yelling, you have confidence. You know you're right, and you're willing to express your point of view. Stutterers hold back. You know, they don't like to say what they think. They try and shrink to make others feel better about themselves. Most stutterers are very creative, very talented people, and it's really a shame. And our media makes fun of stuttering all the time. And I cringe when I hear it. Yeah, it's like making fun of someone who's crippled with a disability of some kind.
Well, every major sport, from tennis on down, stutterers. Macintosh, designers of the computer, 4 out of 5 of their technicians and their PhDs were left-handed.
We're going to do a telethon
left-handed,
for
stuttering, it's amazing.
It's over a 3-day period.
Yeah. 3-day period, right?
By the way, I must tell you, I was listening to what you were saying earlier, is that arts programs in schools are just so important. I mean, I went to a New York City public school, And, you know, this was quite a number of years ago. But I took drama classes, I took a history of the movies class, I took a speech class. When I got to college, I actually was bored with some of the classes. It was so advanced in the high school, it was just a regular New York City public school, that the territory was covered already.
And
So
many children,
I'm
sorry, many children will excel in academics if you capture them through the arts. I mean, there's a young lady that's going to appear at my school, my new school, on Valentine's Day. I met her on Joey's show, Katia Graniva, okay, Russian classical pianist. And last year we took 3,000 children to Carnegie Hall, okay, for free. And she performed. So these are the things we do in a public school.
Speaking of Valentine's Day, can I say something? I'm shooting a film for Valentine's Day. Can I tell you something quickly about that?
Yeah, but hurry.
Okay, I'm doing it. There's an amazing company called the Key of Awesome. Last year they won on YouTube for having the most hits on 2 films, over 100 million hits. And I'm creating a comedy video for them for Valentine's Day for girls who don't know how to kiss, the Academy of Oral Skills. And it's starring this girl, Lauren Francesco, who's an internet sensation. And I've never seen people get this many hits. The internet, I mean, 60 million hits on one film. They do parodies of songs, you know, of like Kesha, Lady Gaga. So they called me to do these films, and we're shooting for Valentine's Day. It's going to be a launch of a new channel. And thank you for letting me say that.
Are you asking Joey to be your Valentine?
I wanted. That's what I was leading into. I wanted Joey to be my Valentine.
So you're gonna see Jeffrey Gurian site, Gurian, also Neil Rosen on New York 1, and you'll come back before the Oscars, I hope.
Oh,
Anytime you want.
And George Albano at georgealbano.com.
And Stephen Scott at StephenScott.tv, not .com, because some plumber from Jersey has that. So until he dies, I have .tv. Stephen Scott with a V, not a PH, because that would be Step N. I'm a Steve N. So StephenScott.tv. Send your complaints to Joey Reynolds.
We need George Albano to straighten out our schools. We'll be right back on the Joey Reynolds Show.
Hi, I'm fitness celebrity Jennifer Nicoli. And if you're busy like me, then stay tuned because I'm excited to share with you the most innovative piece of exercise equipment ever.
Introducing the Ab Circle Pro, the fastest, easiest way to have the flat washboard abs and the sexy V shape you've always wanted.
Are you struggling to lose those love handles nobody loves? Now there's a machine so advanced, it targets your entire core, upper, middle, and lower abs, and even your obliques, all in one circular motion, as it aerobically burns fat in just minutes a day.
The secret is the Ab Circle Pro combines cardio and abs to burn fat, while its unique friction-free track uses the momentum of gravity to target your entire midsection in a full circular motion, firing your core like no other machine has ever done. You'll firm and flatten your stomach in just weeks, not months. We guarantee it. Best of all, it's fun and easy and takes just 3 minutes a day. And watch this. Simply remove the pin, and the Ab Circle Pro becomes a fat-burning bun and thigh machine.
On the Ab Circle Pro, I lost almost 3 dress sizes in a few short weeks.
With the Ab Circle Pro system, I've now lost 60 pounds, I feel great, and I'm one hot mama.
And now, through this exclusive TV offer, the Ab Circle Pro can be yours to try in your home for 30 days for just $14.95. And if you call within the next 10 minutes, we'll send you Jennifer Nicoli's complete Lose Your Love Handle system, which includes our 3-minute express workout and nutritional guide, absolutely free. That's everything you need to transform that body from flab to ab.
You have nothing to lose but inches, so pick up the phone and call now.
Call 1-800-709-1301 to try Ab Circle Pro for $14.95 plus shipping with credit card order. Call now for a free upgrade to priority processing so you'll get your Ab Circle system in 7 to 10 days or less. That's 1-800-709-1301. Call now.
I was just telling Neil Rosen, BS becomes me. It fits certain people, you know. Who walked in front of my camera? We got George Pettignano here. He's a wonderful entertainer, I hope, because he's wearing Rod Roddy's jacket. This may take him down a couple pegs. Then, you know, Mr. Huff, the guy who was at Bunny Ranch, wants that coat. he wants to.
Immediately.
Yeah. I got to tell you why there are hookers, you know. You know what a hooker is, right? Someone who would rather have sex than poverty. Here's George Pettignano.
Oh, let's fly with me, come fly, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come on and fly with me, let's fly away. Oh, fly with me, let's float down to Peru. Yes, in Llama Land there's a one-man band, and he'll toot his flute for you. Come on and fly with me, let's walk out in a blue. Once I get you up there, where the air is just so rarefied, we are gonna fly, absolutely petrified. Once I get you up there, I'm gonna hold you oh so near. Baby, you may even hear angels cheer because we're together. Weather-wise, it's such a lovely day. You just say those words and we'll beat those birds down to Acapulco Bay. It is perfect for a flying honeymoon. They do say, come on and fly with me. Let's fly, let's fly, let's fly, let's fly. Come on, babe, fly away, yeah! Once I get you up there, where the air is just so rarefied, we are gonna fly, absolutely petrified. Once I get you up there, I'm gonna hold you oh so near. Baby, you may even hear angels cheer because we're together. Weather-wise, it's such a lovely day. You just say those words and we'll beat those birds down to Acapulco Bay. It is a perfect for a flying honeymoon. They do say, come on, fly with me. Let's fly, let's fly. Pack up and let's fly away. And don't tell your mama.
Oh, come on, great.
Thank you. That was, I love that. I
Speaking of
love
Fly
that
With
song.
Me, my ex-wife had a wonderful expression. Last week I told her I was going to do the show, and I said, I think it's going to be a big hit. I said, I got a TV show, and it starts in New York on NBC Nonstop. It's going to be on every night. I think it'll be a big hit. She says, it'll be a hit when JetBlue serves food. So Neil Rosen, thank you very much once again,
Joey.
and Jeffrey Gurian.
It's always a pleasure,
and
Joey.
Stephen
Thanks. It's an
Scott,
honor to be here.
and George Albano.
Pleasure, Joe.
And the other George, too, with the jacket, the blinding Pettignano. We'll be right back on the Joey Reynolds, on the All Night Live show. All night, what the hell they call him?
All Night with Joey Reynolds.
Whatever they call it, I'm still here.
Alzheimer's and
We'll be
Joey.
right back.
I can't believe it. This is the third time this month my PC crashed. The last crash cost me $2,500 and they only restored a portion of my data.
You should check out this new online backup software called Desk Protect. I can easily recover from a crash at any time.
Desk Protect? Must be complicated.
Not at all. With Desk Protect, you just run a simple installation process, and within minutes, you can select the data you need protected.
Sounds expensive.
How's less than $6 a month sound?
$6 a month. Even I can afford that.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC, desktops, and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop. Rosalind Seslick, who's now she's in a rest period of her life right now. She's getting well. Thank you for watching. You know, when you meet somebody and you remember their name, you make a friend for life. And one of the things that I liked about radio is its intimacy. You know, it's into me see. That radio is very close. Television's on the other side of the room as a rule. But I like to do the show for you guys who are not really entertained a lot, and there's a lot of bad news on the air, and I try to bring some joy into the lives of people and do what Arthur Godfrey used to do in the old days, which is to create a family of friends, if you go back that far, or what you've heard me refer to Jack Parr. He always wore his heart on his sleeve. He was rather an honest guy, and you knew a lot about his life, even when he supported Castro. And he had to apologize for that because Castro became an enemy of the government. And on the other hand, he had Bobby Kennedy on, and he went to the funeral for Martin Luther King, which was his sensitivity. That's that particular man. Steve Allen, who created characters and gave a lot of stars, and in the legacy of late night television, of course, Johnny Carson for 30 years, who was always a gentleman and had a wonderful style of appreciation for everybody's talents. So you take all those guys in the mix as a childhood, which is mine, and my entire childhood, and you get a chance to do one of these shows, you kind of got to learn from them and steal a little bit, which I've done. So I take a little here, a little there. I mean, you know, I'm like a Frankenstein. Nobody really is totally original anyway, I guess, but you don't always admit it. You know, some people have milk of amnesia. Tonight, I wanted to bring out Ward Morehouse, who was the butcher of Broadway when he was at the New York Post. He used to make shows that were good, sound bad, and shows that were bad, sound worse. So he quit the job because his self-esteem was in the toilet, and he came back, worked for the Christian Science Monitor. His father was a famous critic in New York during the time of Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia, lived at the Plaza Hotel, even collected animals in his room, not women, but maybe that too. But he had giraffes and dancing bears and everything else in his room at the Plaza. You talk about Eloise living at the Plaza. So Ward, in his childhood, lived with this craziness and fun, and he put a lot of it in writing and loves the hotels in New York. So we're going to bring him out and we're going to talk to him about all that kind of stuff. Here's Ward Morehouse III. Ward, come on in. jump into our window of the world. And George Albano is sitting here with me too, who's the
your radio show.
Good.
Yeah, and thank you very much for having me.
Sit down.
And you know, I'm not going to do an hour and a half on the book because I thought I'd set the scene of Times Square where you are. You're in the crossroads of the world. There was the first drive-by shooting was over here in 1913 at the old Metropole Hotel, which is now the Casablanca. Very famous, used in movies, very famous shooting. Frank Sinatra sang at the Paramount Theater. Caruso lived over here in the Knickerbocker Hotel. There are 40 Broadway theaters in this area, so you're right in the middle of things. I mean, it's interesting to me that you've always been on Broadway. First you were on 1440 Broadway, then 111 Broadway, and now you're up on 43rd Street. And it's
this is number 4 Times Square. It does have an address.
Okay.
NASDAQ does have an address.
All right. Well, this is really where it's at. And I remember in 1991 I did a story about the area, and it was really bad. And now it's good. Now fewer cars, less pollution, more police. It's a friendly area. You can sit outside here in the summer. And
well, the mayor's done a lot of that. You know, he made a mall out of this, of course, stopping the traffic.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm too crazy about the bike lanes. And since we've had so much snow, no one can honor any of the bus lanes or the bike lanes.
Right.
They're not there anymore.
Right.
You know, he built them, and then we got the blizzards.
Right.
Or whatever we want to call this.
And as you know, I did a book on a couple New York City hotels, including the Plaza, where my dad had a bear.
Yeah.
And I grew up with a lion cub. Next to the Algonquin, the Hotel Seymour is actually the Sofitel is
and
there.
your mother was famous too, right?
She was an actress on Broadway.
What was her name?
Joan Marlowe. And which mother are you talking about, though?
How many you got?
I have 4.
Well, it took that many people to deliver you?
Well, one stepmother was Jean Dalrymple, who ran the New York City Center for 25 years. And she also had Henry Luce Sr. and Francho Tone as lovers on the same day, I'm told.
Oh,
but that's another story. Yeah. But, and then my stepmother, who was 95, Rebecca Morehouse, who worked for Playbill, just passed on. We celebrated her birthday in Georgia. And she worked for North American Newspaper Alliance. She interviewed Cary Grant 4 times. Cary Grant took off his shoes. I use this in one of my books during an interview and said, I'm too tired to do this interview. I'm not going to do it. I'm going back home. And she then asked him, it was at the Plaza Hotel where they were living, and she asked him about an incident in which he refused to eat an English muffin with only 2 halves, because in London, where my book takes place, they give 3 halves of an English muffin. And it was such a, he ran down to the kitchen and, you know, buttonholed the chef and said, you know, I've got to have 3 halves. This is unconscionable that you only have the 2 halves. I mean, it's not a very major issue compared to what's going on in the world today, in our schools and in our world. But it was fun. And
where did you go to school?
I went to a school called Walt Whitman, which is up on 78th Street and Madison Avenue.
Was it a public school?
It was a private school in grade school, early grade school, and actually that's the headquarters, maybe I shouldn't say this, of the Bloomberg Foundation right now, or going to be the headquarters of the Bloomberg Foundation. And I used to get the bus right here outside the Hotel Algonquin, next to the Yacht Club. And we went from the bears and the mountain lion and things like that to school every day. And it was an interesting experience. And I remember my dad gave me $2 to take all the kids for ice cream, you know, for an ice cream cone. Remember the days when ice cream was 5 cents?
No.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I think you're 2 years older than I am.
Yeah,
so, right. You're right. George, you remember that.
I remember 25 cents, not 5 cents.
Not 5 cents, okay. Well, we were just kids.
We're not going to tell automat jokes, are we?
No. But this is, what a wonderful area this is, and a great arts community. I mean, Spider-Man has had its problems. The line gets longer and longer every time there's a negative article. I covered...
It's so cold, the naked cowboy is in Florida. That's how bad it is.
Right, right. But it's congratulations on being here in this, really in the center of the world. I mean, you made the comment, I think you were doing a man in the street interview, saying that you stand here long enough, you'll meet everybody that you didn't want to meet, or know everybody.
Someone you know.
Somebody you know, right.
Yeah.
And You know, when Caruso lived here, he had a whole floor on the Knickerbocker Hotel. The place is still standing.
See, you got people looking at you in the window here. See, that's what's always cool.
Yeah.
Right? And they're waving.
Right, okay. Right. Well, of
now
course
they're leaving as soon as they got embarrassed.
Right.
No, but it's fun to have this, isn't it? To be
It's beautiful.
To be in a fishbowl. And thank God for this bulletproof glass.
That's right. Yes. They can't knock us off like they did the first drive-by shooting.
No.
Rosie Rosenthal was having dinner at what is now Tony DiNapoli's, where Valerie Smaldone has an event every once in a while for the Drama Desk and other drama organizations, and presents stars and their pictures, their portraits, and unveils their portraits. And it was called the Metropole Hotel in those days. And Scott Fitzgerald in The Great Gatsby used that incident as one of his sequences in The Great Gatsby.
Do you like anything contemporary as far as hotels? Because you've covered the Waldorf Astoria with the President's Stays.
Yes.
And you covered all the hotels, the Plaza, as I recall. You've
That's
done
right.
books on all of these things.
Yes.
Plus you traveled to London, and you've done a lot of that. Dorchester and the London Hilton, I think, too.
London Hilton, which is a high-rise hotel overlooking Hyde Park. And that's going to be the best view in town when there's a royal wedding, because they'll have some kind of reception in Buckingham Palace. I did call after the book was out. I called one of the hotels I stayed at. I said, you know, I'm going to be there in April. Do you have a room? They said, no way. yeah, no, we're all sold. So that's a problem for a lot of people who want to go to see the festivities of the royal wedding. But if you go to the London Hilton, if you can, fortunate enough to get a room, you can look right down on the garden of Buckingham Palace. And it was very controversial when it was built, because it's a high-rise hotel right in the center of Mayfair. And
they got a Motel 6 over there, do they?
They have a Holiday Inn Mayfair.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And
you know they have Amnesty Day when if you return the towels.
Yes.
You can get a new one.
Right.
I don't know if you know that or not.
I don't.
Yeah.
And what about silverware?
Thinks I'm making it up. They really do have this.
Yes. Well, the Waldorf had that for one anniversary, and they returned all the silver. And I mean, a railroad car couldn't hold all that silver, because I mean, you were in line there, weren't you? Yeah.
I was thinking about what I took.
Right. Right.
Oh, we got to bring the Tin Pan Band out here. You know, they did something a little earlier in rehearsal. They had a flame coming out of the saxophone, and they were going to do that in the studio. But we figured it would frighten the bejesus out of all the cops in the neighborhood who want to do it again. We shouldn't be having anything that has fire or special effects. You know?
Can do that in this neighborhood now, I think. Yeah, it's changed.
It's a little too fresh after last year's incident with that bomb in the car. You know?
Oh, yes. I was hearing that. In fact, I had a play.
And, you know, we want to make sure this is not a bomb.
No.
And that's the important thing.
It's not. And it's very fresh and with it and lively and everything else.
I want to do television the way people use the internet.
Right.
And sometimes that means they're going to ignore me because they're too busy with their own stuff. Yeah. This is social networking, and George, you do it better than anybody. You have created a social network of children.
Of children, yeah, and it works very well, and the children just love the arts, love, you know, what Joey does. Joey has probably brought 15, 20 entertainers to my school to enrich the lives of youngsters. So I appreciate that, Joey, very much.
What school are you at now? You got another one.
I spent 30 years at Lincoln Elementary, and now I just retired, and I was immediately recruited to Cottle Elementary School in Tuckahoe, New York. So I'm starting a second career there. Plus, I speak all over the country.
Well, I'm gonna put this band up here. You should have this band come and play for the kids. Tin Pan.
Yeah.
They were discovered in the subway, you know.
I heard
Myra was down there. I think she was jumping a turnstile.
But Myra told me she discovered them, and they're amazing. I actually had the good fortune to play their tin guitar.
Well, we're gonna have them come up and play again. They're gonna do another selection, and Ward Morehouse, of course, Ward Morehouse III. God forbid we should know the other two. We'll be right back on the Joey Reynolds all-night extravaganza from Times Square. I'm told this is a safe neighborhood now.
You know.
Hi, I'm Howard Dvorkin, the founder of Consolidated Credit. For almost 2 decades, Consolidated Credit has helped millions of Americans just like you. We've helped nurses and doctors. We've helped police officers and firefighters. We've helped homemakers and home builders. We've helped over 5 million people suffering from credit card debt. And now we want to help you.
Consolidated Credit is the one company you can trust. Our exclusive Freedom Quest program can help you find options and solutions to your financial challenges. We can reduce your monthly payments by up to 50%, consolidate your bills into one easy payment, save you thousands in interest and fees, and help you get out of debt fast.
When credit card debt is the problem, we're the solution. We've helped over 5 million people. Let us help you.
You're one call away from financial freedom.
Call Consolidated Credit now. 1-800-440-2181. 1-800-440-2181.
Picture wonderful guests, terrific music, and comics that are really funny, and a host that's okay. That's me, Joey Reynolds, on NBC's New York Nonstop, and what the show is called is All Night with Joey Reynolds. We're actually doing the show from the NASDAQ market site, which is at 43rd and Broadway in Times Square. This is a show worth staying up for all night with Joey Reynolds on NBC's New York Nonstop.
Computer problems? Not a problem for Computer Haven. At a loss at what to do when a computer malfunctions or that inevitable virus strikes? Then call the guys at Computer Haven, the safe place for all your computing needs. Experts in computer and laptop repair, upgrades, and new custom-built PC, desktops, and Macs. Give us a call today, 732-264-1100, or visit us at computerhaven-nj.com.
London's Grand Hotels by Ward Morehouse. I was thinking of going to the royal wedding, but I sat on the royal throne for a while thinking about it, and I was having a royal flush, and I was thinking about how I was not invited to this wedding. One of the great things about this royal family is they're more screwed up than mine, which makes me feel so much better. Oh, man. All right, now, Ward Morehouse and also George Albano, my friends, and we're going to join you again tomorrow night with our show between midnight and 2 on Nonstop New York, on all the cable channels that carry us. Thank you very much. And to people who watch us, I want you to know that we are going to be back tomorrow night with another great show. But I want to close with the music tonight of this band that came from the subway. These guys were playing downstairs, and they were playing for nothing. And for some reason, they're like anybody else who gets a lot of money, except they don't get a lot of money. Here's Tin Pan. Let a smile be your umbrella, but don't get a mouthful of rain.
Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho, hey, don't you know? Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. And I said, blow, Joshua, blow, blow, Joshua, blow, blow, Joshua, blow, till the walls came tumbling down. blow, till the walls came tumbling down. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down, 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 down. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho. Hey, do you not know? Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. And I said, blow, Joshua, blow, blow, Joshua, blow, blow, Joshua, blow, till the walls came tumbling down. Till the walls came tumbling
Thank you.
Whoa. Oh, boy. These are the times you want to bring an audience in here. Russ Markowitz is a producer of the show, and his wife hates when I use these paper cups. But you know what? She went out and bought these all-night ceramic cups, and someone steals them. So I'm going back to my basic paper.
There are 13,000 cabs in New York City, but there's only one that pays you. Climb into the cash cab and I'll quiz you all the way to your destination. As the meter clicks, the questions get harder, the stakes get higher. If you get stumped, you shout out for help on the phone or off the street.
Can I ask you a question?
But be careful, because in this rig, it's 3 strikes and you are out. So what do you say? You in?
I was like, I have to get into this world and I have to perfect the cupcake. I chose mini cupcakes because I honestly get a little overwhelmed with big cupcakes. You can eat more of them. The reason I like these strawberry cupcakes is because the flavor in them is so strong, it tastes like a strawberry shortcake. My batter is a secret recipe. There is just a lot of butter. I never use any sort of artificial flavoring. So when I'm not eating my mini cupcakes, other mini desserts I enjoy are the Eccles cake from Salty in Brooklyn, the chocolate s'mores pie from First Prize Pies, and the chocolate Madeleine from Balthazar Bakery. I'm Kevy Landreth. Eat my cupcake.
And cupcakes will derail any diet if you allow them to. If getting trim is your thing, then our friends from Howcast will show us how to shed those pounds.
How to stick to your diet. Boredom, negative feelings, weekends, and holidays can trigger you to overeat. Reach your goal by staying motivated and sticking to your diet. You will need a list, meal plans, a journal, goals, rewards, and a scale. Step 1. Change your mindset. Acknowledge that eating whatever and whenever you want often leaves you feeling unpleasantly full and uncomfortable, which in reality is exactly what you don't want. Acknowledge that you are in control of what you eat. Step 2. Make a list of the reasons you want to lose weight and keep the list with you. Read your list throughout the day, every day, to stay motivated. Step 3. Plan your meals and snacks ahead of time. If you'll be eating out or drinking alcohol, allow yourself to enjoy a small, predetermined portion of one of your favorite high-calorie treats so that you don't feel deprived. Step 4. Write down everything you eat in a journal to keep yourself aware of and honest about your food intake. Step 5. Set small, short-term goals. When you meet them, feel good about yourself and reward yourself with a non-food-related treat. Focus on a realistic weekly weight loss of 1 to 2 pounds. Step 6. Weigh yourself once a week at minimum, but realize that weighing yourself is only one way to track your progress. Before you know it, eating healthfully and feeling good about it will become second nature. Did you know? The most craved food by women in the United States is chocolate.
Brothers and sisters fight like cats and dogs, but this group of kids have learned to channel their energy into making music. More on their story coming up after the break.
I've just invented the world's greatest clamp.
Every woman is going to want one of these.
Any idea, big or small, even an improvement of an existing idea can make millions. Invention Resource International helps inventors patent their ideas and bring them to market. We have the experience you need to turn your ideas into reality. So if you are sitting on the next big thing, call now to get your free invention kit today.
Call 1-888-681-IDEA. Call now.
We all know that we can have the best schools and the most dedicated teachers in the world, but it won't be enough unless we fulfill our responsibilities as parents. It's up to us to inspire our kids to learn, to set aside time to read with them, to make sure they're prepared for class each morning, and to help them with their homework at night. It's up to us to go to those parent-teacher conferences and keep up with their progress every step of the way. So this year, let's do our best so our kids can do